Hey everybody, having an unboxing today. This is the Vivo V11. So as you can see right from the box, this is that new notch design that Vivo, Oppo, and probably OnePlus later this year will be using. They calling this the raindrop, water drop notch. And yeah, it's a lot smaller than the traditional notch. Okay, so pretty bare bones packaging, not a lot here. You have this charger brick. This is for the Hong Kong UK market. This is the UK plug, and then you have right here oh man, it's a micro USB cable, not USB-C. So that means this phone, yeah, micro USB. That's a little bit disappointing. So you get a case, soft gel case. You have papers, instructions, and a SIM ejector tool. So that is it. And as with for usual Vivo phone, I don't think there's anything to peel. Oh, nice. So I think this phone has an in-display fingerprint reader. Yep. So okay, I must have accidentally powered on the phone when I pulled the sleeve out. So this is a nice back. Okay, there is a little bit to peel right here. So I'll do that. Yeah. So what is this color called? Let's see. So this is called Starry Night. That's the name. That's the color of this phone. So you see it has that subtle gradient finish. Not as drastic as a P20 Pro, or even as drastic as the Vivo Nex with the little diamond pattern. There's a gold trim around the camera. So this phone feels and looks just like the Vivo V9 and the V7. So this is a V11, so it's the next one up. So I guess they're gonna jump 2 numbers every time. But Vivo's releasing a lot of phones, man. I got the V7 I think September of last year, so a little bit about a year ago. And I got the V9 this February. So right now we're only getting the V11. So that means by maybe December or next January we're gonna get like the V13. Pretty crazy how fast you guys are pumping out phones. Anyway, I'm gonna play with this and I'll be back with the impressions. Alright guys, I'm back. So I've been using the Vivo V11 for about 5 days now. By the time you're watching this video though, I would have used it for close to 10 or 11 days because I'm not allowed to publish the video yet. So if you guys have more questions about things I may not have covered in this video, please leave a comment and ask me. So we'll go over the kind of overall build and design of the phone really quick. So at the bottom you see there's a single speaker grill, a micro USB port, and a headphone jack. So the back of the phone, dual cameras right here, gold trim, curved sides that make the phone a little bit easy to grip. And the top, it's mostly smooth. So you have the SIM tray on the left. But one of the good things about the SIM tray is it can hold 2 SIM cards and an SD card at once. So it's one of the better SIM trays out there. A lot of phones, even if they have dual SIM options, they make you choose between using 1 SIM card and 1 SD card, or 2 SIM cards and no SD card. So the overall build quality, it's virtually exactly the same as the Vivo X21. It has that same plasticky back that keeps the phone very light, very easy to hold, but at the same time it feels a little bit less premium, especially if you're coming from something, I just used the Note 9, which the phone is very dense, very heavy, and very just glass all around. It feels like one solid piece. This does not feel like that. This feels a little bit hollow and just so light that it kind of feels a little bit like a toy. But that's nitpicking because this phone is not priced anywhere near the Note 9. Now I don't know the official pricing yet, but I'm pretty sure. It'll be around the $400-500 range. So yeah, very similar to the X21, even down to the embedded fingerprint reader underneath the screen. So the major difference is that smaller notch. And yeah, it seems gimmicky. You're gonna release a new phone just because there's a smaller notch, but it does make a difference. If you compare it to something like a Huawei P20 Pro, you look at the two phones side by side and the smaller notch makes a much bigger difference, especially when you're watching videos or playing games, holding the phone sideways. Just the fact that it cuts into the screen a little bit less. So it looks a little bit pleasing and the display looks virtually bezel-less, and this is a gorgeous display. 6.4 inch AMOLED, Super AMOLED panel from Samsung. It is bright, it is vibrant, and it has good viewing angles. Actually, I take back the bright part. It gets relatively bright, but not as bright as something from like a Samsung Galaxy Note 9 or iPhone 10. So when I'm outdoors, it does get slightly hard to see, but for a $500 price range, no complaints. Now, if this was like $1,000 phone, then I would complain. But just a beautiful, gorgeous panel. And one more thing I love is, so this display is 6.4 inches, but because the phone is so bezel-less and the phone is curved, it's really easy to hold in the hand. A heck lot easier to hold than the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. In fact, the Galaxy Note 9, when I hold it for a long time, it gets really uncomfortable because it has a pretty sizable forehead and chin, and the corners are quite boxy. So in the hand, it digs into my palm, and the phone is heavy. When you put the two phones side by side, the Vivo V11, it's a lot more petite, despite them having virtually the same screen size. So that's a win for Vivo. So now under the hood, you have a Snapdragon 660 with 6 gigs of RAM. So that's the same setup as the Vivo X21, and it's not the most powerful combination out there, but it's definitely enough for like 98% of people. So I use this phone for 5 days. Going on social media, doing typical human things like taking photos, Facebook, Twitter, all that, it's going to be completely fine. So the only time you notice a difference is when you're playing games, and even then, it's not a big issue. So I was playing Hero Hunters. It's a really graphically intensive game, and I couldn't set the graphics to high. I had to set it at the middle tier. But once I set it at the middle tier, the game ran absolutely smoothly with no issue and did not heat up at all. And you have a 3,400 milliamp battery inside. That is pretty amazing. So one of the reasons when I made the Note 9 video, I called it overrated, was because a lot of the things that people raved about were things that Chinese phones offered a long time ago. Like people were saying, oh, the battery life is amazing on the Note 9. Well, the battery life has been amazing on Chinese phones a while. So check this out. So Vivo does not let you check screen on time, but I unplugged this phone yesterday afternoon, and right now it is the next day at 6:40 a.m. So it has been unplugged for almost a day and a half now, and it still has 35% battery life. Now, granted, I did not use this phone very heavily because I carried two phones with me yesterday. I was using this and the iPhone 10, but the iPhone 10 definitely ran out of battery a heck lot faster and needed to be charged. I used the iPhone 10 a little heavier than I used this, but just to let you know, even if I use this heavy, it definitely would have lasted me the entire day. I mean, there's 35% left right now, and it's a day and a half into it. So speaking of the camera, we'll go over the selfie camera first. Even though the notch is so small, there's a 25 megapixel camera in there, and it's pretty crazy. 25 megapixel, that's huge. It's too crazy for me, actually, because I have bad skin. Now, if you're someone who's a lot prettier than me with smooth skin, then you'll love it. But even if you don't, Vivo has a new feature with the V11 called AI Face Beauty, which basically uses the front camera to scan your face and then uses the AI algorithm to then allow you to do all these cosmetic changes to your face, such as whiten your skin, thin your face. Now, you might be thinking a lot of beauty modes already do that, but this phone takes it a little bit further by allowing you to thin your nose and enlarge the bridge of your nose and make your lips bigger. Now, to be honest, I find it a little bit creepy. It looks a little bit weird when I do it, but my girlfriend liked it, and I think a lot of ladies will like it too. Because I'm not saying that girls are more vain, but a lot of them just love to play with Snapchat filters, right? Even if they're not sharing on social media, and this is pretty fun. So I will show you a sample for me. This is normal sample, and then this is with the beauty mode. So you notice it looks a little bit too hardcore for me. The eyes are noticeably bigger. Look how smooth out the skin is, but it looks fake. It looks plastic. So right here, this is my real skin, and it's pretty bad, and my eyes are definitely not as large. And so on the back camera, you have a 16 megapixel main shooter with a f1.8 aperture and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. So no telephoto lens, just a pure depth sensor. But the depth sensor is legit because look at the edge detection in this bokeh portrait. It's very good, and you can actually go into the portrait to adjust the blur after the fact, which I like a lot, and not a lot of phones allow you to do that. So this is another portrait mode. So you look at the edge detection was on point, able to get around the plate and also the bar. So you see, again, edge detection is mostly on point. It messes up a little bit on the back of this guy's hair, but otherwise it's a very strong image. Oh yeah, so this is my girlfriend, and then this is her with the beauty mode. So you notice it makes her eyes larger and it pulled out her chin a little bit. So it's kind of funky, but she was having fun with it. So now in daylight photos, they are awesome. In fact, if you take photos in the day with this phone and an iPhone 10 or Galaxy Note 9, you're not going to see much, if any, difference at all. They basically all pump out very gorgeous photos, very vibrant, very lively. The camera app is fast, focus is fast, shutter speed, it's responsive, just a very good camera to use. But now it's not the perfect camera because this is ultimately not a flagship phone. When you go into low light photos or when you shoot videos, that's when you see the difference. So this is a low light photo now. Now it's still a very impressive shot, but if you shoot this with a Huawei P20 Pro or a Galaxy S9, you will get slightly just more details and just a brighter image. Like you might be able to see the texture a little bit clearer. But you know, again, it's minor, right? So this video was shot in a dim bar with the band playing quite loud. So it did a good job considering they were very loud and you're able to hear the sound in dialogue. My girlfriend recorded the same band with the OnePlus 5T and the sound came out very distorted. So unfortunately, the stabilization for videos is just okay. It's not great. So we'll check out this video side by side with the Galaxy Note 9 and you'll see what I mean. So notice that on the Vivo V11, the video is jerking as I'm walking. Every step I take, you can see it. On the Note 9's video, you see it's a lot smoother and you see dynamic range is a lot better too. So this is what I mean. This camera, it's really good up to a point. So this is what I mean. The camera is really good up to a point. When you compare it to actual top tier, the best phones, then you'll see a little bit of difference. But it's not that major and definitely good enough. So I'm going to put up more photo samples right now to have a look. So you've probably noticed I'm running Nova Launcher on this phone. That's because I'm just not a big fan of Vivo's main software. Now the software is not terrible, but I just like being able to slide down to get my notification shade and also swipe up to get on my app tray, which the stock Vivo Launcher does not allow. Vivo changes quite a lot of stuff. For example, you might have saw that there is no shortcut toggles in the notification shade. Instead, I have to swipe up from the right to bring up this control center like thing, which is copied from the iPhone. And you also, one of the things that really bugs me the most about Vivo software is they don't let you search for stuff. So right now I'm trying to find the always on display because I've set, it's been set so that it only starts at 9 a.m. and right now it's 7 a.m. So the always on display, it's not on. So I want to go set it, but I can't find it because I can't search for it. So that I just have to scroll through every freaking menu and like look into everything to find it. It takes forever. If you have search in settings, I can just type always on and find it immediately. Like if you want to check battery, for example, again, you have to come here and like look through the list to find where's the battery down here like that. You can't just search for it really quick. That's one of the most biggest annoyances of the Vivo launcher, and unfortunately Nova can't help with that. Now there are some good things about Vivo software though. I really like the swiping navigation. Now, you might be thinking the iPhone 10 started this, right? It's another phone that's copying the iPhone 10. No, it's not. Vivo did it first. The Vivo V9 came out last year before the iPhone 10, and it already has swiping navigation. So you swipe up the middle to go back. You swipe from the left to go home. You swipe from the right to bring up the shortcut toggles. And you swipe up and hold to bring up your list of recent apps. Now, there's a little bug right now. You can only do that swipe up and hold when you're already inside an app. If you're not inside an app, if you're doing it from the home screen, you cannot do it, you see? Like, there's no way for me to bring up my list of apps, but it works perfectly fine when I'm inside an app. And there's also useful gestures such as like you swipe from the left and right to bring up a one-hand mode, and then you double tap on the phone to lock the screen, double tap on it to turn on, and it's awesome. So LG came up with this idea like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know why more companies don't steal this idea, because we don't always hold the phone. like this with our finger near the power button. A lot of times we're using the phone on a desk. It's just a lot better for me to be able to turn on and off the display like this. So the fingerprint reader, it works, but it's still slower than a regular fingerprint reader. So you see like how long that took, like a full second almost. So I've just ended up using Face Unlock almost exclusively because it's so fast. It's the same OnePlus 6 Face Unlock. So I'm looking at the phone right now, I'm powered on. See, and it immediately jumps in the home screen. It even bypasses the lock screen. I'll show you again. I'm gonna tilt the phone first so you can see the lock screen, and I'll tilt it toward my face. Immediate, as soon as it sees my face, it unlocks. So this does a little bit concern me because it's so fast. It makes me think it can't be secure. But I keep trying to fool it. Like I tried to face unlock it when one of my eyes are closed, or with like a little bit of my face cover. Or I tried it on a couple of my friends with similar face shape as me, and the phone will not unlock for them. So I've been unable to fool it, even though there's no way this is truly as secure as a iPhone 10 or Oppo Find X face unlock. But right now it's good enough for me. So if I had to mention earlier, so part of the reason Vivo is able to make the notch smaller than usual is because Vivo put the earpiece right here. It's a sliver now across the top instead of inside the notch like on, say, the Huawei P20 Pro. So we'll do a quick audio test. If you're wondering why I'm not listening to K-pop, that's because apparently some of the K-pop labels now are actually pursuing copyright laws on YouTube, because I previously had uploaded a version of this video with 2NE1, and then I got the copyright notice saying I can't use the song and video. So what? So that sucks. So maybe no more 2NE1 videos in my phone test. But anyway, we'll test a copyright-free music. So 50% volume right now. This is unfortunately a bottom fine speaker, so very easily muffled. We'll go up to max. Yeah, so the speaker gets pretty loud, but sounds a little bit flat. So this is, it's a single fine speaker, so you can't expect a lot, but this is okay. It's a puny speaker. So this is the Vivo V11. I don't know the price of this phone yet, but I think for probably what I'm expecting, $400 or $500 range, you're getting a hell of a screen and a lot of future technology in hand. Now personally, unfortunately, I can't make this phone my daily driver because I shoot a lot of videos and I take a lot of photos at night. But if you're most other people who don't take a lot of night photos, then this camera will be more than good enough for you. This camera is good enough for probably like 80-90% of like everyone out there using smartphones. It's just I'm kind of like very picky because I review phones. I want to have the best camera possible. So I won't be making it my daily driver, but I will be using this phone a lot as my secondary phone just because the screen is so big. Again, a Samsung Galaxy Note 9 has the same 6.4-inch display, but it's a lot bulkier to hold. And if you look at something like a LG G7 or this one, a Huawei P20 Pro, it's a noticeable smaller screen now. So you see there's a chin up there that cuts off the screen right here, and you look at how much further the Vivo screen goes. And this phone, it's very easy to use with one hand, very light, so it's awesome as a secondary phone for me. For a lot of people, this would be great even as the main phone. Man, look at the screen. Anyway, thanks for watching.